We got 84% average extraction rates from the 5 columns tested. And what's even more impressive is that that extraction rate came within 5 days of starting the leach. It's about 90% of the recovery within 5 days of starting the leach. So the material has very good kinetics, excellent recoveries, and we're looking forward to taking this through to the PEA. We'll have that done by the end of the first quarter next year.
Hello and welcome to the Assay TV. Today I'm here with Hugh Agro, President and CEO of Revival Gold. So Hugh, thank you for joining me here today.
Good to be with you, Amy. Thank you.
Absolutely. And so it's been a while since we had our last Assay TV interview with you. So maybe you can give us a quick introduction to Revival Gold for viewers who may not know too much about your company.
Thank you. Yes, Revival Gold is a pure gold developer with 2 projects in the Western United States. Mercur, which is advancing towards a PEA at 1.7 million ounces of gold, and the Beartrack-Arnett Gold Project, which is in Idaho, now 4.6 million ounces of gold, moving through permitting preparations. We're listed on the Toronto Venture Exchange under RVG and on the OTCQX RVLGF.
All right, sounds great. So let's get into some of your projects now. So you have recently reported results from a metallurgical test program at the recently acquired Mercur Gold Project. So can you tell us a little bit about the project itself and the results that you've come up with?
Yes, Mercur is, as I mentioned earlier, a 1.6 million ounce gold project. And we're moving forward with a preliminary economic assessment on the resource there, with the intent of developing out a heap leach operation. This is a brownfield site, a former past producing mine site, and it's got infrastructure including roads and power line to the site, and it's located about 1 hour's distance from the city of Salt Lake, which is advantageous for us. We, as you alluded to, just put out metallurgical test results in support of that preliminary economic assessment work. We got 84% average extraction rates from the 5 columns tested. And what's even more impressive is that that extraction rate came within 5 days of starting the leach. It's about 90% of the recovery within 5 days of starting the leach. So the material has very good kinetics, excellent recoveries, and we're looking forward to taking this through to the PEA. We'll have that done by the end of the first quarter next year.
It sounds great. We'll definitely have to keep an eye on that. And so then moving on to the Beartrack-Arnett project in Idaho, you've recently resumed field work here. So can you tell us a little bit more about your focus with this project?
Yeah, look, Beartrack-Arnett is a project we've been progressing over the last 7 years. We started out with nil resources. We're now at 4.6 million ounces. The deposit is a orogenic gold system, open over 5.5 kilometers of strike down to a depth of about 500 meters that we know of. And we've been focused really on extending the strike to the south, where we have high-grade mineralization going underground. And by high grades, I'm talking 6 to 12 grams per ton gold over widths of 3 to 8-10 meters in thickness. And so we've been working on qualifying targets to advance further drilling to the south. We ran about 90 line kilometers of geophysics this past summer, structural mapping, and we've developed up 2 new target areas on the project: the Sharkey area to the south of our high-grade deposit, and the Ridge target area to the west. Very excited about these results and what they mean for future exploration on our Beartrack-Arnett project.
Sounds great. And do you have an approximate timeline for when we might hear more from you about this project?
Well, we're working now on permitting preparations for the first phase of the project. It's focused on the heap leach aspect of the resource there, a relatively modest capital, $109 million of capital for this project. And taking advantage again of infrastructure, which is really one of the hallmarks of Revival Gold. We focus on these project sites that have had successful past mining take place and that are supported by the local communities and benefit from infrastructure as well as, of course, understanding, which lowers risk on restarting production. Our Beartrack-Arnett project is now the subject of a PFS. And as I indicated earlier, modest capital, a restart program is in preparation as we move through permitting preparations. So the next step for us will be the completion of a draft plan of operations by the end of this year. And meanwhile, as indicated earlier, we're continuing to progress exploration. The deposit's open in all directions. It's quite exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you started to touch on kind of the benefits of, where your operations are. So your position in the Western US in Idaho and Utah. So can you talk a little bit about what makes this region such a good destination for mining?
Both Utah and Idaho are in the top 20 rated locations in the world for exploration and mining investment. This is based on the Fraser Institute annual survey. In fact, Utah came out on the top of that survey this year ahead of jurisdictions like Nevada and Quebec. These are great places to work. We've got very supportive local state governments, communities that understand the benefits of responsible exploration and mining. And as I indicated, we've got infrastructure. And the benefit of infrastructure is not only that it allows us to move with a lower capital restart cost and budget, but it also lowers risk. It means that we don't have to do assessments on multiple locations for infrastructure because the infrastructure is already in place. It means that we don't have capital cost inflation risk because those pieces of concrete and steel, roads and linear permitting items such as power lines and water lines are already in place. So this makes for a relatively low risk opportunities for our investors. And in places like Utah and Idaho, I think we're going to see a lot more activity in the months and years to come. These are great jurisdictions for exploration and mining. We've got an onshoring trend in the United States for domestic production. And I think if we're going to invest in gold and exposure to gold as a safe haven, one also wants to think about being in good geographies.
Absolutely. And so earlier this year, Revival Gold completed an acquisition of Ensign Minerals. So can you talk a little bit about how this has helped to advance the company so far?
In May 2024, just earlier this year, we completed the acquisition of the Mercur project through the acquisition of the private Ensign Minerals. Ensign was put together by some industry luminaries over the last 12 years, a consolidation of a land position, which is very unique in the United States. It hosts a Carlin-type gold deposit. And these are the very productive types of mineral systems that we see in Nevada that underpin some of the largest production assets in the world. This is a 6,300 hectare land position. It encompasses an anticline structure which has been mined on the east side, but it hasn't been mined in any modern sense or even explored on the west side of the property position. So we're really excited to get out and explore on that west limb of the property. Meanwhile, we're advancing the east limb of the property where the current 1.6 million ounces of resource are hosted towards that PEA for the end of the first quarter next year. We're benefiting from the work of some really super geologists who assembled this land position. And there's some exciting and tantalizing exploration follow-up for us, including a drill hole EN027, which intercepted 26 meters of 6 grams per ton gold and an oxide horizon about 150 meters from surface. So very exciting property position, now public in Revival Gold as part of our consolidated position. And just to step back a little bit further from a strategic point of view for Revival Gold, the real benefit of this project is it has very similar hallmarks to our Idaho project, Beartrack-Arnett, heap leach focus, and with our team based in this area of the Western United States, makes for an efficient advancement for our technical team. Target production from the combined Beartrack-Arnett and Mercur project is 150,000 ounces a year of gold from heap leach in just the first phases of these operations.
Great. Well, and that really kind of brings it back full circle about kind of the premier destination that in which you operate. And so I suppose just to close things off, anything that you'd like to share for potential investors that they should be keeping top of mind in the coming weeks and months for Revival Gold?
It's an exciting time to be in the gold business. We've got gold at a record high, over 26.85 just this past month, an ounce. And what's more, we're seeing in the seniors and intermediate gold stocks some 40% cash margins. That ranks these companies, this industry, ahead of all other sectors in the S&P 500. So traditionally, we've seen financials and technology and energy with the highest cash margins. Today, the gold industry ranks above those sectors of the economy. So this is a really exciting time for the gold industry. In fact, the gold producers themselves are generating free cash flow aggregating up to some $4 to $5 billion a quarter, according to RBC's most recent financial projections. And this is at the current gold price and doesn't reflect any of the upside that we're seeing in terms of the metal forecasts from the likes of Goldman and UBS and others. So we're in a really good sector. Strong cash flow is coming in. But the problem, I think, for our industry is that we've underinvested in growth. And so we're seeing the pace of global gold production running at about 120 million ounces a year. And yet the pace of discovery is only running at about 20, at most 30 million ounces a year. And that creates a gap which companies like Revival Gold that are developing portfolios in good jurisdictions can fill. We offer investors exposure to about 31 ounces of gold per 1,000 shares held. So this is the advantage of being in a developer. High exposure to the metal and to the upside price in the metal, and in a sector that is generating a lot of free cash flow and needs growth assets for the future. At Revival Gold, we're all about growth. At our Mercur project in Utah, we're moving forward the PEA towards completion by the end of the first quarter in 2025. At Beartrack-Arnett, we already have $170 million of NPV and 4.6 million ounces of resource with exploration potential beyond. We offer investors a tremendous exposure to both net asset value and ounces of gold in the ground, sitting at 31 ounces per 1,000 shares held. We think this is a compelling time to be investing in development assets in good locations that offer exceptional exposure to the metal gold. We're really excited about the company, and we invite investors to learn more, Amy, through one-to-one or on our website. And we're excited to be working with you.
Sounds great. Well, and also, actually, you're going to be featured in the upcoming edition of the Assay Precious Metals edition, which is coming out actually next week. So if people want to find out more, we can also further help to direct them to your website. So Hugh, thanks very much for being here with us today at the Assay.
Thank you.